Let's start her PowerPoint. She's supposed to start now. No, stop the music. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this afternoon session of the Richflood workshop on key steps to executing sustainability strategy. I hope you had a good afternoon, and I hope that this is a good time for us to get together for just an hour session and see how to dive into corporate sustainability strategy issues. So I welcome you from my side. My name is Comfort Asokoro Ogaji. I want to welcome everybody to this event, and I do hope that you have a nice experience with us this afternoon. I will now hand it over to the Richflood office to do another brief introduction and then get started on the event. Over to you, Richflood office.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You are welcome back to this workshop on key steps to executing sustainability strategy. It's indeed a great pleasure to have you once again. This workshop will provide participants with the knowledge on how leading companies would establish priorities, allocate resources, and execute their sustainability strategy. This session will last for 1 hour, and at the end of this the organizers of this workshop is Richflood International Limited. Richflood is a leading continental provider of environmental and social due diligence services for investment in Africa. The firm works closely with investors and leaders in the public and private. Name yourself and add your organization after your name in bracket. So now I will introduce the speakers for this session who will take us through the key steps to executing sustainability strategy. And after this presentation, we will take questions and answers. Our speakers for this workshop are Dr. Adeola Olajibagbe and Professor Ali Ujaro. Dr. Adeola Olajibagbe is an environmental control and management expert. She has handled several projects on environmental assessment studies across Nigeria. She has also coordinated a good number of studies on environmental audits, environmental protection and rehabilitation program, and other studies for Richflood International Limited. Our second speaker, which is Professor Aloyo, is the Director General of and Chief Executive Officer of the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency. NESRA has been saddled with the responsibility of protection and development of the environment, biodiversity conservation, and sustainable development of Nigeria's natural resources in general. Right now, I will hand over to Dr. Olajugbe to continue with our presentation. Over to you, Dr. Olajugbe.
Thank you very much, our moderator. I'll be taking us through the steps involved in executing sustainability strategy. Once again, I welcome everyone to this workshop. When we say sustainability, it has to do with the concept which recognizes that the environment is an exhaustible resource. Therefore, it is very important for us to protect the environment for the good of the earth, our very self, and every living thing therein. You see, sustainability itself is broadly used to indicate programs, initiatives, and actions that are aimed at preserving a particular resource. And when we talk of sustainability strategy, there are three pillars of sustainability actually holds together this strategy to ensure that the environment is being kept safe, even while we are making use of the resources that are in it, and that we are able to leave it to the human sustainability, the economic sustainability, the social sustainability. We have the environmental sustainability as well, which I'm going to be focusing on during the course of this presentation. You see, sustainability is becoming a key part in the overall business strategies, with some of the key players who are now beginning to publish some reports, which we call the Integrated Annual Report, that actually combines the environmental, the social part, and even as far as bringing in the financial data. And according to the Euromonitor International Sustainability Survey in 2019, it states that 66% of the industry professionals believe that sustainability initiatives are crucial to success. And 73% of this initiative is considered that even though all of these are important components of a company's value proposition, the business still need to improve their sustainability strategy. That is why we say that a good strategy does not end at prioritization, but it also involves making a decision that really focuses on certain issues. Now we go to the reason why this sustainability itself is required. Now I said we go to why we need a sustainability strategy. It is very important for us to first note that every business or every investment requires prioritization. And therefore, it is important to have an agreed framework for deploying the resources that are within the circle of the investment. and to also create the impact that is coming to assessing the impact, and after the assessment of impact, communicate the results. And then there are a lot of processes of developing this strategy. And all of this, by the time we combine them together, they have a lot of advantages. First, it can help to guide resources and investments into the areas that are most important. Also, sustainability strategies is required to engage the external stakeholders and even the internal stakeholders in a meaningful dialogue. And most importantly, sustainability strategy helps to drive performance by stretching the company to achieve its laid down goals. Now, in order to develop this sustainability strategy, there are certain formulas that we can put together which can actually help investors to plan for a successful sustainability strategy. First, we have the talk and engage. We have the assess and prioritize. We have the commit and collaborate. Then we have the measure and report. Then finally, we have the execution and communication. Now, the first and the most critical step when planning a sustainability strategy is building a winning business case for sustainability. Now, it is important for us to know that at every stage in time, at every point in time, companies, investment projects, and industries, they are faced with conflicts between sustainability and competitiveness. That is, they are faced with either embracing sustainability and adopting measures that will help them to keep their activities in a sustainable manner, and between pursuing competition among their peers. But it is important for us to bear in mind that a convincing business case would focus on the connection that is between this sustainability and the benefits that the business will stand to gain at the end of the day. Now, after we have moved from the talking and the engagement process of developing the sustainability strategy and all the benefits has been itemized, then we now go to the assessment and prioritizing. And this is the second step, which involves the mapping, prioritizing related risks and opportunities that are attached to the business. Every business has its own sustainability challenges, and every business has its own opportunities. Therefore, it is important for us to map out all this from the risk down to the opportunities, because whatever outcome that we get from the mapping out of these two is going to form up the key steps that will help us to take the important step that will attract investors and also ensure a good financial performance in the company. Now we go to the commitment and the collaboration. The commitment and collaboration. This involves proactively setting standards, targets, and goals, as well as working in partnership to accelerate sustainable business innovation. There are so many companies that are coming up. There are so many investment projects that are being established. But it is important for investors to take this bold step of commitment to build the right partnerships with key stakeholders. It could be with NGOs, it could be with the government, it could be with the academia, or even with their suppliers and the retailers. And every aspect of the company that makes it one, with the waste management, every aspect of the company, building partnership with them would actually help them to commit and then enhance the collaboration techniques while developing the sustainability strategy. Now we'll go to the next stage, which has to do with the measurement and the reporting. Having gone through the first three stages, it is important for us to know that all assessment that we must have conducted all of them will be measured up against one another, and then a report will be given in order for the company to be aware of the particular engagements that they are going to go for to ensure this sustainability strategy. And after this agreement must have been reached, it is very essential to educate and communicate these strategies, because communication plays an essential role in any sustainability plan, both internally, that is with the shareholders, and externally, that is with the government, with the investors, with the customers, the employees, and it goes on and on like that, because this is what people perceive as being transparent in developing your strategy and executing your strategy, because it's going to ensure that everybody is on the same term. There is a good agreement that has been reached and it can be followed accordingly. Now, I said earlier that we are going to be focusing on environmental sustainability. Let's take a look at what we mean by environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability aims to improve human welfare through the protection of natural capital. What we mean by that, we refer to land, the air, the water, the minerals, and so on and so forth. And any program or initiative that can meet the demands of the present generation without compromising the needs of the future generation is what we term as environmental sustainability. And this environmental sustainability places emphasis on how business can achieve positive economic outcomes without jeopardizing the environment, either on the long term or even on the short term. And that is why environmental assessments are usually being carried out. For instance, we have the environmental impact assessment, which is being conducted to assess the baseline condition of the environment before introducing a developmental project. Then we have the environmental audit, which would also help us to assess the impact of an ongoing project on the environment and to also find a way to mitigate about all of those things that has been affecting the environment negatively and enhance those ones that are beneficial to the environment and the people at large. Then we have the Environmental Protection and Rehabilitation Program. And this majorly ensures that even after the commissioning of a project, the environment is being returned back to a safe status, even better than it was met at the initial stage. So all of these things are very, very important in executing the sustainability strategy. And we have quite a number of advantages, a number of benefits that investors, companies, and business owners stand to gain if this sustainability strategy is being adopted. First, it ensures future for all. Like I said earlier, it has to do with, sustainability itself has to do with making use of the resources that you have now and still making it available for the future generation to use. So it ensures that you have a future, even though you are making use of those resources better the environment now. And another benefit is that it helps to reduce energy usage. You see, sustainable practices actually leads to a significant reduction in long-term energy costs, because there are so many green technologies now that we can embrace, like using the solar energy, like using the wind. And then, we have so many of them that would actually help to reduce energy usage while also ensuring environmental sustainability. Also, we have a healthy habitat for all, a healthy habitat for all. You see, sustainability action actually goes a long way in making a real difference in the society, because once a community or a nation is committed to sustainability, in fact, to a great extent, it will help for them to take steps that will reduce the carbon footprint and even the amount of toxins that are released into the environment, which would in turn make the environment safe. And then also we have societal impacts, because this would also, the sustainability strategy that has to do with the societal impact has to do with, involves encouraging the conservation of natural resources, which deeply penetrates to not only the company activities, but also affects the employees. So this societal impact is actually very important to also consider them and not restrict our sustainability to environmental impact alone. In conclusion, there are so many ways, there are so many choices that we can make in our everyday lifestyle to ensure that we live in a sustainable manner. And they range from choosing suitable sustainable billing options. They have to do with making transportation adjustments. For instance, we can try as much as possible to avoid automobiles as much as possible, at least for short distances, because this will greatly help to reduce carbon emission, therefore saving the environment. And then, we have the making use of a reusable products. There are so many of them that we can make use of. We can opt for reusable bottles instead of having ones that we use once and then we have to dispose. Then we can cut down on our plastic usage, because these plastics are not biodegradable. So they end up in landfills unless they are perhaps reused by a brand committed to sustainability. You see why it is very important for us to live sustainably. Also, we can opt for recycling. This is actually the very least every participant in this event should be doing at this point, because it is so easy, it is convenient to recycle. So I would like to end with this statement that it is very important and
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Adiola Olajugbabe, for that wonderful and very insightful presentation. It was very educative, and I hope all of us have really gained knowledge from that presentation. So, without wasting much of our time, right now I will introduce the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of NESRA, who is going to take us through NESRA's sustainability strategy. The stage is yours, sir. Please, can you go ahead with your presentation? The Director General of NESRA or its representative, if you are, please go ahead with your presentation, sir.
Okay, good. So you can talk. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. The DG is not available, so I'll be presenting his presentation to you people. Can you allow me share my screen? Okay.
Please, can you share your screen? You have been made the co-host. You can share your screen, sir.
Okay.
Okay, you can see your screen now. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay. Okay. All right. This is a presentation by the DG NESRA, Professor Aliu Jiro, and I would quickly take you through what he had prepared for this workshop. My name is Mr. Davo Samson Choji, Assistant Director of Planning. So without much waste of time, this is the overview of the presentation. I think the DG would like to talk a little bit about how NESRA was established, our vision, our mission, what is our mandate, and how do we implement our strategy to achieve stakeholders, and what is the NESRA sustainability strategy. Then we conclude. The National Environmental Standards and Regulation Enforcement Agency is a parastatal of the Federal Ministry of Environment. In fact, we call it the police arm of the Federal Ministry of Environment. And it was established in 2007, and it was signed by Mr. President and published in the Nigerian Official Gazette on 31st July 2007. But because there were some flaws or some omissions in the Establishment Act, it was later amended by the President on 12 November 2018. So we have an amended act that we are using right now. Our vision is to ensure a cleaner and healthier environment for Nigeria, while our mission is to inspire collective and personal responsibility in building an environmental conscious society for achievement of sustainable development, which is one of the things we're talking of. Now, what is our mandate? Our mandate is to enforce all environmental laws, guidelines, policies, standards, and regulations in Nigeria. Our mandate is also to prohibit processes and the use of equipment or technology that undermine environmental quality. Our mandate is to enforce compliance with provision of international agreements, protocols, conventions, and treaties to which Nigeria is a signatory. And this is how our implementation strategy is. These are our key stakeholders. We work with the federal ministries and agencies, with state and local governments, with the private sector corporate organizations, with development partners, with professional organizations, the academia, the CSO, the faith-based, and with the media. Now, what is our sustainability strategy like? First, we need to talk and we need to engage people, right? So the only way we can do that is by carrying what is called environmental education and awareness. And in doing so, our priority is to make sure we ensure a cleaner and healthier environment for Nigerians. We allocate our resources both in human and capital resources, both by the budget provisions, the internally generated revenue we have in discharging our duties. And some of these include provisions of funds for production of information, communication, and education materials, production and airing of radio jingles and drama sketches, carrying out weekly environmental sensitization and awareness campaign program in all our states, in all the state offices where we have our presence. We respond to public complaints. We carry advocacy and courtesy calls to key stakeholders. Now, our action towards the environmental education and engagement strategy include working with other agencies in the 3 tiers of government to align our plans, our priorities, and our messages. We work with industrial sectors in terms of regulation, environmental impact, and future investment. We work with other ministries, departments, and agencies to promote environmental awareness messages to the general public. We work with state and local governments to help educate industries and communities, including developing community-based environmental programs through our NYC partnership and with our civil society and FBOs. And we also have our NESRA Green Corps which we use in sending out messages. Then one of our sustainability strategy is regulations and standards. We focus our regulatory work on individuals or organizations whose activities pose threat to the environment. And this is carried out through the development of regulations, standards, and implementing the various environmental enforcement programs we have. Some of the environmental enforcement programs and activities we have implemented include: we developed and gazetted 33 national environmental regulations in close collaboration with the parent ministry, the implementation of the national e-waste control program at global, regional, and country level. We regulate the telecom sector through comprehensive national environmental audit of all their BTS, that's base transmission stations, nationwide. We control the illegal trade in endangered species of flora and fauna, that's CITES. The agency's strategic action in achieving these are: we develop and seek approval for a program of appropriate regulation and guidance that will help manage the environmental risks. We work with the judiciary to explain the regulation, the environmental risks, and the responsibility of those who should be accountable. In support of the approved regulation, the agency introduced site-related permits to interpret the regulation and ensure that the responsible person of the business understands the permitted level of pollution and the consequences of non-compliance. We work with other national and state government agencies to ensure our inspection and enforcement work and efforts are aligned to theirs. We forge and agree on joint priorities and partnerships to ensure our resources are used most effectively. Then one of our strategy is partnering and working through others. In order to achieve our mandate effectively and efficiently, we collaborate with other MDAs, donor agencies, development partners, organized private sectors, and so on and so forth. Some of these include the Nigerian Customs Service, the National Center for Bureau Interpol, the Sustainable Research and Action for Environmental Development, the Federal Ministry of Environment, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Federal Ministry of Health, Standard Organization, and then the Elephant Protection Initiative. Also, the strategic action in building partnership through others, we support and promote the development of key strategic environmental infrastructure, particularly in relationship to waste management, water management, air quality, linked to sustainable energy generation. We work with state governments where necessary has offices to agree on joint environmental priorities, including increasing environmental awareness and compliance monitoring. We work with other national agencies, including the police, customs, security, water resources, forestry, education, to reinforce environmental messages and policies. We work with other national agencies and organized private sectors, such as Federal Road Safety Corps, VIO, National Union of Road Transport Workers, among others, to ensure that the air quality is improved through the control of emissions from vehicle, machines, and sources. Then one of our sustainable strategies is environmental compliance monitoring, enforcement, and reporting. We set targets to measure performances in the discharge of our mandate. The agency has put together parameters to form key performance indicators, KPIs, used in measuring its progress to the set targets. And some of our KPIs are the number of environmental permits issued, number of environmental compliance inspections conducted, number of regulations developed, number of state offices established, number of cases prosecuted for environmental offenses, number of advocacy or awareness campaign conducted, number of environmental consultants accredited, number of import certification issued for UEE and chemicals, number of public complaints responded to. In our environmental compliance monitoring and enforcement program, we have strategic action such as finalize the baseline data and information that describe the current status of the Nigerian environment in relation to enforcement activities. Develop systems to collect, assess, and analyze environmental data and information. develop continual environmental monitoring programs in relationship to air quality, waste management, water quality, biodiversity, and pollution in general, with focus on environmental pressures not monitored by other agencies. We develop agreements with international and national as well as relevant stakeholders to collect, assess, and share environmental data and information. We form analysis with major research bodies, including our universities, to help understand the cause of environmental degradation. Then one of our strategies is knowledge sharing. In a bid to achieve our vision, mission, and mandate in a sustainable manner, the agency documents its programs and activities through report writing. Some of these reports include our monthly reports, quarterly reports, annual reports, reports of our national stakeholders fora, compliance monitoring reports, and then there are reports of the response to the public complaints, which we are, and so much and so on. We also have the Nesria Watch and so on. So we have a lot of those. In that way, we can share what we have, our knowledge base. In conclusion, environmental issues are cross-cutting and affect all segments of our economy. Sustainable development can only be achieved in an atmosphere of good environmental governance. Nesria has categorized its strategies into three. That's the short, the medium, and the long-term strategies. Our immediate, which is our short-term strategy, is development of appropriate environmental regulations and standards, institutional strengthening and capacity building, database development and cadastral mapping, and environmental education and awareness creation. Our medium-term strategy is the encouragement of voluntary compliance through public enlightenment and outreach programs, and development and enforcement of environmental compliance master plan for the country. Then our long-term strategy is mainstreaming of the environmental compliance master plan in all our national development agenda. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for that wonderful presentation from the representative of the Director General and CEO of Nesria. Thank you very much. We actually learned a lot, and I know our participants were also really educated on the activities of Nesria. So during the course of the presentation, we had a lot of messages, comments that came from our participants, and they were more of commendation. The first person that sent his message, Peter Agabwe. Peter Agabwe actually commended the first presenter, which is Dr. Olajibagbe, on wonderful insights on how the key 5 steps that are supposed to be undergone in the terms in ensuring a successful sustainability strategy for projects, and also the simple approach that everybody is supposed to undertake in ensuring sustainability in our day-to-day life. Thank you very much, Mr. Peter, for that comment. Rita Babatunde actually commended Nesria for coming on board to share this knowledge to all the participants of this event. And he said he actually really learned a lot from this presentation. Thank you, Rita Babatunde, for being part of this event. We really appreciate your coming to this event. So we have a comment here that came from Halim Yusuf. Halim Yusuf says, thank you for the presentation. He said, what is the sustainability strategy Nesria has for the power sector? What is the sustainability strategy Nesria has for the power sector? That is the comment from Halim Yusuf. So the representative of the Director General of Nesria, please, I don't know if you could comment or respond to this question from Halim Yusuf. He said, what is the sustainability strategy that Nesria has for the power sector? Over to you, the Director General of Nesria.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, we are working towards having a regulation for the power sector, And then we are also looking, we are setting in motion programs to see how we can shift to alternative energy. We are also encouraging people to, through our environmental education and awareness, to use alternative energy source. For instance, even using your bulbs, when you're using your bulbs, use those the white bulbs, the energy saving bulbs than the incandescent bulbs. So we are really working a lot on the issue of the power sector. So I hope I've answered the. Then also we are looking at the issue of e-waste from the power equipment, how they can be recycled and so on.
All right, thank you very much for that.
Answer this question.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you've addressed the question, and I hope Alim is satisfied with that response. So we also have another question, or like more of the comments. He said from Adebola Akande, and he said, thank you for this event. So Adebola Akande is saying, what are the enforcement approach that NESRA has, because the operators and the proponents that Dr. Gaji spoke about in the morning don't follow rules. So they were talking, we had a session in the morning where we talked about operators that are engaged in several developmental projects. So Adebola Akande is asking the enforcement approach that NESRA intend to use to ensure that operators stick to the rules in ensuring environmental sustainability.
Okay.
Back to you.
Okay. Now, in our enforcement approach, when we go for our compliance monitoring and compliance monitoring inspection, and we notice certain things that are not right, we have what we call compliance concerns, which we communicate to the regulated community. And once we send the first compliance concern, we give you a time frame for you to be able to address those issues. If those issues are not addressed by the time we come for another inspection, the second inspection, we still write you another compliance concern. If after the third compliance concern is not attended to, we now send you abatement notice. We send you the first abatement notice, you didn't do it, we send the second abatement notice, you didn't do it, then we take you to court, where you now pay the penalty after all the court proceedings. If you prove that you are guilty of the crime or whatever you have done. And I also want to let you know that aside from just this, we have also trained. We have also organized a workshop for the judiciary, so that they are in tandem with what we do. And likewise, we have also made a training curriculum for the different cadres of the police, so that they can also help us in our enforcement approach. Hope I have answered that question.
Yes, sir. Just a justice to it. Thank you very much for that response. And also, we have another comment, like a commendation from Abdul Salih. Abdul Salih said, thank you for the presentation, sir. Thank you, Abdul, for coming on board this presentation. And also, we also have a comment from Yusuf Umar. Yusuf Umar said, please, is there any regulation in Nigeria for power plant installation in communities? He's asking if there's any regulation in Nigeria for power plant installation in communities. I don't know whether this question is linked to the first one that was asked about the power sector, but you might need to respond to that, sir. Thank you.
Now, for power plant installation, that is not our mandate or purview. You have the National Electricity Regulatory Commission, so these are their own. We only look at the environmental aspect. If they install the power plants and there's something wrong that is affecting the environment, that's when we come in. But we do not give guidelines for how to install power plants in communities.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that response. Also, we had another commendation from Bachi Yunana. Bachi Yunana is thanking Dr. Adiola for her presentation, and he's saying that is indeed a good one, that we should imbibe all the principles that have been laid down so that we can ensure sustainable environment in our day-to-day life. Also, we have another comment from, or question rather, from Matthias Ayeye. And Matthias said, please, what's NESRA doing as regards mining companies polluting water bodies around their mine sites? He's asking what NESRA is doing as regards pollution of water bodies around mine sites. Please, can you respond to that, sir? Thank you.
Okay. If most of these mining companies, very few are organized mining companies. Most of them are artisanal miners, and most of these artisanal miners, we have tried our best to educate them, to train them, and even provide PPEs for them. And sometimes we try to go out for reconnaissance studies around states, because we have state offices, for them to give us to get information on the mining activities. But like I said, some of these mining companies are way in the bush. They're not within the town. They're way in the bush. For us to have access, it's also a risk for us. But we try our best once in a while to get the security agencies to follow us so that we can go and at least educate them and also give them compliance concerns.
Thank you very much for that response. The questions are really coming in, and hope you don't mind to keep responding to them. Okay, we have another one from Hima Bakam, and Hima Bakam said, you mentioned institutions you collaborate with, but you did not mention academic and research institutions. So he's saying, do you see results from such institutions as potential source of information to help you with strategic planning and actions? And then we said there are a huge gap between policies and results for such environments whose results are hidden in journals. So he's trying to ask question, how do NESRA collaborate with the institutions that you did not mention, research institutions, when you're talking about collaboration with the institution that you mentioned? So that is his response. That is his question, rather. Over to you, representative of DG. The representative of the Director General of NESRA, are you with us? Okay, maybe I will have to read the question. Okay, all right. Please, did you get the question? Or should I read it again? I can hear you very well, sir.
All right. He's asking of why do we not collaborate with other agencies or MDs? It's not like we don't collaborate.
Mention
institutions. Yes,
yeah,
you see,
institution and higher institutions when you talk about institutions that you collaborate with.
We like I said, the program, when we have programs is when we collaborate. And so far, some of the programs we have on ground are, for instance, on seizures of CITES. We can only achieve this by collaborating with the customs. If we are talking of e-waste, the only way we can collaborate, the only institution we can collaborate with is custom. So depending on our programs that we have on ground, it is, then we look at the institutions that are in charge of those things, then we collaborate with them. We just don't collaborate where we don't have programs to run with the institutions. We have, in terms of capacity building, we have had exchange programs with the UK. We have a lot of collaboration with those. It's just that I mentioned a few. I cannot start listing all the agencies that we are collaborating. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. And I think we still have one more question from Samatu Eku. Samatu is trying to find out in terms of the transportation and air pollution. And he's asking if there are any plans for sustainable green transportation. Although I know this is a broad question that would also involve other agencies, but we might still need to respond in terms of Israel's view, considering sustainability of environments. What are the plans in terms of for sustainable green transportation, considering the air transport and the pollution that is involved in it?
Okay, we have a regulation on air quality, as well as we have some programs right now that we're running, trying to bring up and run with on vehicular emission and generator emissions. So we have those programs on ground, which we are trying our best to see we kick-started and we run with it. And also our DG sometimes back visited the National Automation Council towards these programs that we have.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I think because of our time, we are just going to take one more question so that we can wrap up. We are running out of time, and this is another question we actually have. So let me see which one we can take now. Okay, from Clement Ali. Clement Ali said there are a lot of illegal mining activities in Nigeria. But please, what is Nigeria doing to curb this activity and make it mandatory for every mining activity or company to be registered? So that is the question from Clement Ali. He's asking about what Nigeria is doing to curb activities of illegal mining activities and to make it mandatory for them to be registered. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you very much. He's talking of illegal mining, like the other person who asked the question on power plant installation. We cannot work out of our mandate. Our mandate is not to register illegal miners. That is the purview of, I think, Ministry of Mines and Steel. That is theirs. Ours is the environment. And what, like I said earlier on, what we do, we try to reach out to the illegal miners. That's, we call them the artisanal miners. We try to educate them. We try to provide them for their own safety, PPEs, because if you go there, you see a lot of them are not using PPEs. We have provided training for them, and we have also told them about the environment, how to do their mining in a sustainable way. That's the best we can do for those illegal miners. But to register them, it is not our purview. It's the purview of another ministry. Hope I've answered the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for that time. I'm afraid because of time, we have to ensure that we finish the event at the appropriate time. So we may not be able to take more questions, but you just keep on sending your question, and we are going to respond to them appropriately. Might need to drop your email address, and we will respond to this question. So at this point, I will now call on Adiola, Dr. Adiola, to wrap up his events with some concluding words. Over to you, Dr. Adiola.
Adiola.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been quite an insightful session with you, sir. We really appreciate you for honoring our invitation. For the rest of the participants whom the moderator is unable to take their questions, don't worry. We have all your email addresses registered with us, and we will get across to you if there are further questions that you still have concerning this event. And once again, we want to appreciate the Director General, ably represented by Assistant Director of Planning, for attending this event and for giving us great insights into the good works that NESRIA has been doing, explaining extensively the mandate and then, the mission and the vision, and stating to us a lot of things that NESRIA has put in place to ensure sustainability. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. And quickly, just before we end this event, I would like to tell us about our next month's workshop, which is going to be coming up on the 18th of May 2021. We would like you to register for this event as well. We are going to be bringing in different dignitaries from different sectors also, who will be talking to us about sustainable procurement and the circular economy. Sustainable procurement and the circular economy. With today's, I want to believe that we all understand how important it is for us to take sustainability very, very seriously, because our environment needs to be safe. Our environment needs to be safe, not just for us to use and then, make everything messy before we leave, but to keep it safe for the future generation to be able to make use of it as well. Thank you very much. Right about now, we would like to take a group photograph. We appreciate everyone for attending, all the investors, all the business owners, all our clients, all the NESRIA representatives from different states, all the people from the Federal Ministry of Environment, from the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development. We thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. We hope to see you next time again. But before we go, let's put on our video. Let's put on our video so that we can have a group photograph. Notification is being sent to us right now for us to put on our video. You just accept. You see it's displayed on the screen. You've been asked to start your video so that we can take the group photograph. Our technical team will be taking the screenshots as we are getting the notification, and we are seeing the beautiful faces and the handsome faces. Wow, Madam Tessie Ajiboye, I can see you. Thank you very much for joining us, ma'am. We appreciate you. Mr. Victor Samson, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, Mr. Peter, thank you very much. Chisom Peter, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Clement Ali, is good to see you. You look great. Thank you for joining us as well. We have Mr. Chuku Emmanuel. We thank you for joining us. I hope our technical team are taking screenshots of this and saving them. Thank you very much. We have so many beautiful faces, great faces in our midst today who joined us for this event. Thank you so much, everyone. Madam Rita Babatunde, we can see you. You are highly recognized. Thank you very much, Mr. Emuze. Sorry if I didn't pronounce your word name well. Mr. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Madam Abdul, thank you so much for joining us. We have Mr. Yusuf Umar. A notification has been sent to you. Let's see your face, let's see your face. Let's take a group photograph together. And we have one, Madam Ajirio Gene. I'm so sorry if I didn't pronounce your name well. You look very amazing. Thank you for joining us as well. We appreciate you. Mr. Matthias Ayeye, thank you. Galaxy A02, you should have renamed yourself properly, but we can see you as well. Thank you for joining us. Madam Yejide Abifari, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sir, I cannot pronounce your name well and I wouldn't want to murder it. Mr. Udebunam, something, Dami. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate everyone. We are very grateful. And we hope to see you next month in our events. Outside our workshop, we have this online workshops that takes place once in a month, and we have dignitaries, we have director generals from different agencies who comes in to discuss with us about the topic, and then we realized that even this one we had today was highly educative, and we have been able to gain one or two things. Let's keep maintaining our environment. Let's keep sustainability at the top of our mind. Thank you very much, Mr. Prince, Mr. Martins. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Jeffrey, thank you for joining us as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. Okay, some of our participants are just putting on their videos. We appreciate you as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Jude. Thank you very much. Mr. Andrew, even though you're unable to put on your video, we appreciate you as well, Mr. Prince. Okay, we have one Prince Lakon. Thank you so much. We appreciate everyone for joining us. Isaac Julius, we can't see your video, but we appreciate you for joining us. Aziz, thank you also for joining us. Yusuf Umar, thank you very much. We hope to see all these beautiful and handsome faces again next month as you join us, and our speakers will be taking us through sustainable procurement and circular economy on the 18th of May. Thank you so much.